I'm in a lot of turmoil right now and it feels like everything is falling apart. I have never had a great relationship with my future mother-in-law. It isn't terrible, but I can sense that she doesn't like me. My fiancé is very close to his family, so there has been some tension. I didn't invite mother-in-law wedding dress shopping because our relationship is awkward, but I thought I'd show her a picture to make her feel included. My dress is a beautiful flowy beachy dress, but not technically a wedding dress and could be ordered in color. I bought it from a small local boutique that we both love. Mother-in-law said that I can't wear the dress because she bought the same one for her 50th birthday, which is 2 weeks after my wedding. Mother-in-law does have the dress, though in a mint green color. There is enough detailing that it is still clearly the same dress, and she has the receipt to prove she got it first. Lavish birthday parties are a thing in our circle, so I know she has invested serious time and money in this party. I said that I am still going to wear the dress, despite the fact I could easily return it with no loss, because I didn't do this out of malice and I love it. Mother-in-law said if she wears it 2 weeks after I do, everyone is going to think she is pathetic and copying her son's wife. I said sorry, but not really my problem. Everyone has gone crazy since I said that. His entire side of the family and the friend's mother-in-law invited have all backed out of the wedding, so like 15 people, and it will be noticeable. His sisters were supposed to be in the wedding party on his side but dropped out and have blocked him on everything. His stepdad won't talk to him and says he regrets raising him and he isn't a real man because a real man would stand up for his mom. His bio dad is even in mother-in-law's side, which doesn't surprise me because they are good friends, but he called us up to shame us the other night. My fiancé is hurting and found out his family had a big beach day and invited everyone but him. He called mother-in-law and they talked but didn't come to a resolution. She said if I refuse to do the right thing, the only answer is no one going to her party can go to the wedding. He tried calling sister-in-law and found out she blocked him. He is mad at me now and feels like she had it first. Everyone's the idiot here. To be honest, you kind of walked into this one by purchasing a non-wedding dress from a local boutique that the two of you both like. There was always going to be a distinct possibility of something like this happening because of that. Maybe you can suggest going dress shopping with your future mother-in-law to find her a new dress for her birthday. 50th birthdays are kind of a big deal, not like a wedding, but still a significant milestone, so I understand that she wants to look nice for it, and there's probably a good chance that a large number of the guests at the birthday will have also attended your wedding, and she's not totally out of line for thinking people might say she copied you. I may be a little biased on this, but honestly, drop every single one of these people out of your life. Not the idiot, these people just showed both you and your future husband that they care more about their image than their family. They are willing to miss your wedding and literally kick you out of family events over a dress. That is absolutely ridiculous. Please do not give in to this manipulation. They are trying to set a standard where they will force you and your husband to do what they want for the rest of your life. This is incredibly manipulative and it will not stop. If you allow this to slip by, it will get more frequent and worse. You are the idiot, and I'll explain why in a minute. If mother-in-law had her 50th birthday party right now and wore that dress, so you would be the copycat, would you still wear it? Honestly, I hate the whole idea that weddings are more important than birthdays because a 50th birthday can be a big deal. I also feel like we could be missing information for literally everyone on that side of the family to back out. But in the end she did have it first, and unfortunately there is a stigma around women wearing the same thing, much less a mother and daughter-in-law in two major events so close together. Update. So, I posted here a few months ago about my mother-in-law wanting to wear the same dress to her 50th as I bought for my wedding. She did have the dress first and receipts to prove it. I got a lot of mixed feedback and ultimately decided to return the dress. It clearly triggered something massive for her. We got married a month ago and mother-in-law did agree to come after originally refusing. Stepfather-in-law, the man who raised my husband, would not be swayed, and sister-in-laws have him blocked on everything and did not want to hear it. I kind of wondered if she was going to pull something crazy, which isn't really her style, but this whole thing has been crazy. She was very quiet and just hung out with her ex. Mother-in-law and my husband have talked a little, and she just isn't in the mind frame for a relationship right now. She is extremely hurt and I don't get it, but she obviously needs her space. She barely spoke during the wedding. I actually reached out to stepfather-in-law, which probably want my place, but he said we didn't see her sobbing in his arms, we can't get what we did to her. I know I got a lot of pushback on my decision to return the dress, and people saying it's just a birthday, but it really isn't. Yeah, she might get one every year, but a massive party for her 51st just seems a little odd. I remember my mom's 50th and how much she put into that. It was like a wedding. Mother-in-law invited us to her party after uninviting us and her ex, pledging to play security. Ultimately we decided not to go because of how angry stepfather-in-law and both sister-in-laws are, and stepfather-in-law admitted he was uncomfortable at the thought of seeing us. It was too much for my husband to see his whole family there. She had her party over the weekend, and yes, I social media snooped a bit. It looked great. She looked really happy. I'm at peace that I didn't get my dream dress. As for us, my husband is going to therapy to heal from the grief. He has realized he needs to respect his sisters and they are serious. The younger one broke down sobbing and said I did the right thing, but he didn't do anything and she can't forgive him for just letting their mom get hurt. I still don't totally get it, but it's okay. Mother-in-law doesn't express feelings, so for some reason this was her hill to die on. She doesn't seem too interested in a relationship, so they'll have the occasional text I guess, and everything's over. I'm happy she has a good party, and I'm looking forward to my husband healing and the rest of our lives. There is seriously something missing here. I really wish we could get the other side of this story. This is such an extreme reaction for someone you say is normally not dramatic. I am absolutely positive something has been left out. Could be something you are not saying, is not my problem the rudest thing you said. Because I doubt, or something you don't even know, maybe there is some sort of trauma here that you're not aware of that this triggered. We always get a biased, one-sided account, but this is on levels I am not used to. Again, I am not accusing you, it's very possible it is something you don't even understand. But something is seriously off here. This makes me even more confused as to what the hell even happened on that side of the family. It sounds like you did something horrific, like murder her pet, or cause her to miscarry, or something traumatic as all hell. Not threaten to take her dress. Almost makes me wonder if she's terminally ill, and you don't know, and this party was supposed to be a huge hurrah because she wouldn't see another one or something weird. Recently, moved into a new flat with a person I found on Spareroom. Before we moved in we talked about how we both were in a hybrid work from home environment and how that would be fine a few days a week. We also talked about how clean we like to keep the flat and basically just clean up after yourself. Fast forward a couple of months and she's worked from the office maybe 3 days and has made our living room her personal office. Not only that, but she is working long hours and is sometimes working until 7 p.m. 8 p.m. I've been very considerate and didn't say anything and have tiptoed around her working or waited to use the kitchen until she was off a conference call. However, she started sending me rude and sarcastic messages about the cleanliness of the flat. To be clear, the flat is immaculate. I've had guests over and told them I'll have to clean after they leave to avoid the messages, and they are flabbergasted because it's already clean. She also sprung on me that she expects the flat to be fully deep cleaned once a week and we should take turns doing that. This was never discussed and I think is quite extreme. However, I still just tried to be a nice roommate and started cleaning and mopping every other week, while I still continue to get snarky messages. So now the drama. I wanted to have a date over for dinner one night and asked my roommate if there was a night she knew she wouldn't be working late so I could have someone over. She seemed really put off by the request and said she doesn't really know her schedule and she'll have to look. Finally she got back to me that she was going to a show Friday, so I said fine, that works. Date comes over, I cook a fancy meal and we clean for 20 minutes afterwards, really setting the mood, then sat on the couch, had a couple bottles of wine and moved to my room. Left out were 2 empty bottles of wine, 2 glasses on the coffee table, and some mist stains on the counter, beet juice. My roommate gets home at 3 a.m. and stomps around the flat, presumably because she's mad about the mess. I got up early in the morning, 7:30 a.m. on a Saturday for God's sake, and threw the bottles away and put the glasses in the sink, but missed a tiny beet stains on the counter. The next day I got a message about how she's tired of waking up surrounded by stains and bottles. So I sent her a message that said if you can't stand 2 empty bottles being on the counter for less than 12 hours and can't stop sending me rude messages, then I've been entirely too nice about you setting up a desk in our living room and using it as an office for 60 hours a week, and you need to move it into your room. She came back that it's a shared space and that's unfair and she has a right to it as much as I do. I don't know, am I the idiot here? Not the idiot. Clearly, this isn't a healthy roommate situation. Your roommate has misrepresented both her cleaning standards and her work situation. Thorough weekly cleanings is a good standard, but should have been discussed before moving in. She became fully the idiot by misrepresenting her work situation and working until after 7 in your shared space. She's being unreasonable by working long or late hours exclusively in your shared space and declaring her usage as equal. Not the idiot. She can't use a shared space as her office. I would text her again. For now I'm treating all the main areas of the house like my areas too, which they are. I will not change my life to tiptoe around you working. Please do not use the living room as your office space. If she does, literally watch TV next to her. Play with your phone loudly. Cook loudly. You're not being considerate, you're being taken advantage of. Also, tell her you no longer want to hear anything about the cleanliness of the apartment. That you're a responsible adult and will take care of your messes within a reasonable amount of time. I had this roommate. Literally exact same thing with the cleanliness. Made dinner once for a date, cleaned as I went, but put the last couple things in the sink, hand wash items, everything else was up. Migrated to another room. Because date. And then in the morning got up and cleaned up, made coffee, and went on a run. Came back to insane texts about leaving a mess, making too much noise early on a weekend, etc. Same roommate who lived in the lower level complained about the noise my MacBook keyboard made when I occasionally worked from the kitchen counter and had coffee or breakfast. Stayed in the living situation almost a year and was just so stressed to be at home constantly. In hindsight, I should have moved out way earlier. My youngest niece is 16 and she asked me to fight for her to live with me and my husband. My husband was on board, so I did, and it pissed my sister off. My niece the result of an affair my sister had while she was married to her other 3 kids' father. When my sister's ex found out, he left her, and my niece's father didn't want to be part of her life either, so she was left with my sister, 3 siblings who resented her because of how she was born and a belief for a few years at least that her mom's ex should still be responsible for her. When she was 6, he told her if she ever spoke to him again she would be sorry, that she was a disgusting and not his problem to deal with. My sister has never given my niece the love she deserves. She always expected her to just be happy, to feel loved and wanted despite most people not wanting her and making it very loud and clear for her. They fought a lot the last couple of years on account of my sister, not understanding why my niece was making such a big deal out of everything. I think what really made my niece want to leave is her brother told her everybody wishes she was dead, they wish she had never been born, she was a mistake and a stain on the family, just like their mom. And my sister never comforted her or anything. Like I said, my sister is now pissed and some of the family judge me for taking her from her mom when she's doing her best. And part of me wonders if I maybe made things worse. It's hard for me to see it that way, but with my family saying what they are, I feel like I need to know. Take it from someone who moved in with her aunt at the same age for a similar reason, you are not the idiot. You are an amazing person for being so compassionate and considerate towards your niece and wanting to take her in. And trust me when I say, your niece will be eternally grateful. When I went to live with my aunt, it allowed me to finish high school, get into a good university, and is the sole reason I'm still sane right now. If I had to live with my mom during my final year in high school, I would have failed my exams, still be depressed, and wouldn't have gone through all the personal development I've had for the past year. Not the idiot. And if that's what the family calls your sister doing her best, I hate to see what she can do at her worst, because what she's doing to your youngest niece is horrible. Sounds to me like the family is making you feel bad because you're doing the one good thing for your niece, which is to pull her away from a toxic situation, and that's making them feel bad. And your sister is pissed because this shows that she's an inadequate mother. Why else would her child want to get away from her? Poor kid. I don't know what it takes to legally get custody of her from her mother, but I hope you and your husband have hired a good lawyer. I don't see why they're so angry, didn't they get exactly what they wanted? The bad child out of the house. Oh, except everyone now sees how awful they all are. The family judging you did nothing to help the situation, they can butt all the way out. You're doing the right thing for this poor innocent kid who has done nothing to deserve the awful treatment she has received. You and your spouse are wonderful for providing a safe and loving home for her, nothing else matters. If your niece is able to get some therapy, that might be a good thing too. I'm sure she's blamed herself for things she shouldn't, and that terrible dynamic is a lot to deal with. I'm getting married to my lovely fiancé of 5 years next month. I'll provide some context for the post. First, I'll start off with my fiancé and I. We met in high school, started dating, we got engaged when we hit the 3-year mark, and now it's been 5 years since I proposed. We didn't get married straight away because we were still very young when I proposed, and we just wanted to make our relationship official with that ring. My fiancé and I have similar styles in terms of clothing. Both her wedding dress and my suit will represent our own individual styles. We have our own picks already, of course. My suit is not a traditional wedding suit for men, it's more on the edgy side, and while it's still a formal suit, there are some touches of chains and stuff like that on it. I love it, it's different and it represents me. I despise the idea of a classic tuxedo in the first place, I don't feel myself in it. My fiancé and I have a great relationship, of course we have some regular fights, but nothing abnormal for any couple. We love and support each other and have a healthy balance of relationship in our friendships. Now about my mom and sister. My mom and sister are the kind of people who start one-sided beefs with people. They claim to love my fiancé, but they're jealous of her. They're the kind of people who want the same love and affection from me that I give my fiancé. They always compare themselves to her. They act more like jealous ex-girlfriends rather than mother and sister. They've also made subtle threats towards her than they later claim are jokes, like if you dare look at us wrong, we'll make sure your relationship won't last long. My fiancé and I have realized how weird they're being, and we've distanced ourselves a bit. But even in small instances they'll comment publicly on our pics mocking our outfits. Our outfits are not even something extreme, we just have more of a rock style, and they consider that ridiculous. Long story short, they saw my suit and started scolding me and saying there's no way I'll show up like this to my wedding. I said it's none of their business and both my fiancé and I love it. They said there's no way they're gonna let this happen. They went and bought me a new suit which would be something a 50-year-old man would wear, and they'd insist I wear or else they're gonna make sure I'm gonna be mocked at the wedding by my relatives and how everyone will laugh at me. I said I'm not wearing the suit, end of story. They now are calling me the idiot for not respecting their opinion and not wearing the suit they spent so much money on. I don't think I am the idiot, but just to make sure, do you think I'd be the idiot if I didn't wear their suit? Not the idiot. A little distance doesn't sound like it's doing you much good. The women whose picture you painted sound like they will cause some sort of ugly scene at the wedding. It's risky having them there when they might ruin your special day. They are threatening you with exactly that. Tell them, one more peep and they're uninvited. And if you think that's overkill, then at the very least get someone to keep an eye on them who can serve as a bouncer if there's a ruckus. By the way, if they bought a suit you were never fitted for, then it's off the rack and can be returned. They can take it back. It's your day, wear what you want. Not the idiot. No one deserves to be threatened with being mocked at their own wedding. I don't care who they are, blood related or not, they get an immediate uninvite from the ceremony for such a vile act. Your mother and sister have proven again and again they are jealous of the love you found, as they want you to be beholden to their selfish whims. I very much had similar family, and it was only by going no contact did I find true happiness. Rock the suit you chose, and have the wedding of your dreams. Free of toxic people who wish to hold you back.